Welcome to Subramani. Some smart retirees are ditching the financial plan which people like us used to make a few years back. Typically, we said a 60-40 portfolio with a 4% withdrawal should work very well for the rest of your life and blah blah blah. However, 2-3 things are changing. The dynamics are changing because of many things. So, if it is based purely on growth like the 60-40 formula, it's not working. Secondly, people are not retiring at the retirement age of say 60 or 65. 65 if you're in US, 60 if you're in India. And in India, people expect that the company will give them an extension for a couple of years. So it will be 62, 63, maybe even 65 before they actually retire. Not always true, because some companies give a retirement extension, some people don't give a retirement. Some people ask you to go the day you have to go. Right, so some lower end people are asked to go, some higher end people are retained, right? So a lot of things which allows which makes retirement more and more uncertain, right? Economics, today's economic landscape is making it more and more uncertain. So what are the big 4-5 factors which are affecting? First is inflation. People have no clue how much will be the inflation. People are worried about inflation, but people have, look at the US. US had very low inflation till 2022, and in 2022 inflation went through the roof by American standards, and that meant interest rates went up and destroyed portfolios. And people who thought from 1980 to 2022 21-22 thought interest rates could never go up again, were suddenly stunned by shocking inflation in the US. Inflation in the US for some time was higher than the inflation in India, right? So this actually happened. I may not have thought this was going to happen in maybe even in 2010, right, or 2015. May not have thought that this is going to happen, but it didn't really happen. So inflation is something to worry about. Market volatility. What if the money does not increase at the rate at which I want it to increase? What if I don't get the money when I want it, right? So I want it down that day. So market volatility is very scary for most people. Not just retired people, even for people in service are very worried about volatility in the market. Another thing is the rising health costs. Health costs is going up by leaps and bounds, and for everything you need to get a test done, you need to get admitted. I'm not saying anything against doctors, right? That will make a separate video, but the expenses which are incurred and the things that they ask you to do and the tests that they ask you to do are all very expensive. So healthcare costs definitely does go up. And another thing is, after all this, the most important thing is long-term care. In India, there is nothing called long-term care insurance. So a person could be on maybe in his last days, but if he's there like that for 4 months or 5 months or even 4 to 5 years, then the amount of money that you spend on that on a monthly basis is huge. So somebody who has supported a parent or a grandparent and have seen that kind of cash flow which is necessary, you will realize what I am talking about. Right now, I think in Mumbai, looking after a person who is totally bedridden without adjusting for inflation or anything is about 1.25 lakhs, out of which 90,000 per month will be taken away by the person providing that service, right? So these kind of expenses make sure that people are afraid to retire, and people are looking for something which is very different from the typical 60-40 plan and things like that. So I keep talking about the different buckets. So keep your money in different buckets. First bucket is money meant for your next 10-12 years expenses. Bucket number 2 has the next 20 years expenses, and everything other than that you want to put it away in a growth bucket, right? So you want to do that. So for doing that, it is necessary that you allocate your resources and compare it to the right index, right? If you want to compare it to the index at all. These models seem to be a little outdated and little for a different era, because they need more than just market exposure. They need flexibility, sometimes they need protection, and most times there has to be a purpose of their investments, right? Markets don't, what are the problems with the market? First of all, market does not move in a straight line. Market, I keep saying, this is somebody else's example, I keep saying that market is like a dog with which you are going for a walk. It'll move here, move there, move back, do all that, but ultimately come back to you because you're holding the leash, right? So something like that will happen in the market. Market will be choppy, will be uncertain, and that is a time when you will need to handle your mind rather than anything. So volatility is something which will, so inflation, then there is volatility, all those things have to be handled, and handled very well. So if you are not in a position to handle this, you will go and destroy a lot of your wealth, right? So even though these models are outdated, at least follow that model, and you know where you are going and what you can do to improve it, right? So what all should a retirement plan cover? So first of all, people don't retire very early. People retire only at 65 or 67, 68, right? So only at that stage. So 3-4 things that your retirement plan should cover, and for which you have done some application of mind, is first is liquidity. Your plan should be easily accessible in terms of an emergency. If you have an emergency fund, you should be able to sell it and raise money, right? After an emergency build up is built, the money, the next priority is causing a guaranteed income stream on a day-to-day basis, right? So creating an income stream beyond the day-to-day coverage should be your another income strategy. Then some fixed annuity could be a solution for this. Growth still matters, but with a tactical lens. You want active models and strategies that track them and continue economic indicators each month. Check for the ability for you to manage your investments, clients, investment targets. Depending on those signals, you should approve. Growth still matters, but with a tactical lens, right? So if you have growth, it does not mean it's not getting appreciated. It is getting appreciated, and end of this you will find that appreciation. Another very important thing for which in India there is no cure, or even in the US I believe now there is no cure available, in the sense that long-term care is no longer an insurance which is business and people want to do, right? So it's fairly obvious if there are too many impediments to the big cats, they will behave very differently. Thank you.